Let's begin the series about the introduction of the LinkedIn job description. In this series practice, I will use the Safari to open the LinkedIn website and search for the IT jobs on LinkedIn. And maybe because I'm not very familiar and not native language or English, so I maybe need use the AI tools such about this one, and this is a deep learning translation, and maybe this one the Norman dictionary to for some pronunciation and the translation for the for the translation of the English. So today this is the first course about my practice. Let's see about the person about let's see let's see about the person about the Alibaba International Digital Commercial Senior Management Manager, Senior Manager, Internal Investigation Singapore. I think I got this position by the keywords about the digital director, retail, maybe the digital director. In Singapore, there is different from the Chinese. There is different from the translation about the director. Now, we know in Singapore, if one act as a director, I think maybe this is means 董事, not in China. Maybe translated to 总监. I think this is different from China. I don't know. Maybe this is related for some senior operation, but I think this is very popular in Singapore to name operation act as to describe a job act as to describe a job as director or manager or VP. For some VP, there is very popular to have very few people under him. Now let's begin. At the first time, we know the operation is released 1 week ago, and 105 applications, and is released by Alibaba Group. This is full-time work, but I don't know whether it is a permanent operation or a contract operation. This is another different from China. For permanent operation, it is for the employer. For the staffs, it is you never think about the will be fired if the contract is if the no sorry let's explain it later. Permanent person means you can work in the company forever. Maybe not in China. You have a contract with the computer with the company. Maybe 1 year or 2 year. When the contract is closed, so you must leave the company. At least when I work in China, all contract is signatured by this method, and the employees must leave the company when the contract is over. Maybe at the same in Singapore, there is the contract about the stars. You may leave the company and you will get no anything. You will get nothing when you leave it. This is all. And let me check about more things. Details about the description. Details about the jobs. Let's have a look about the responsibility. First, conduct office or investigation related to alleged. How to translate this?
Alleged.
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 Let's check about it here.
Alleged.
The alleged involvement in international terrorism.
Their alleged involvement in international terrorism.
Okay. related to sorry, let's pronounce it again.
Alleged.
Alleged, related to alleged violation of the company's code of conduct and other policies and procedures ensure throughout ensure through
Thorough.
through thorough sorry what about the emphasis thorough yes
Thorough.
thorough the emphasis is at the beginning ensure thorough timely investigation through various investigation methods ensure significant investigative issues and or trends are identified, escalated and acted upon through investigation report and other escalation paths. Let's see all of these were sentence translated to Chinese. I can very quickly switch to the deep learning translator because I have used the hotkey command CC. You can press very quickly, like to double click about the C. You can press the command and double click the C. This means command CC. You can call the deep learn, so the translator popped up. I think maybe this is a operation related to the internal code investigation and in code conduct actor for in code for code and all of these things. Maybe I think in China we will think more about the rulers and the act and the laws about the code. But in Singapore, it is more serious, very important for a company. I think everyone cannot take out the code of his computer. That means if you employed by the companies, you cannot take any code and any document from the company. This is illegal. I think in Singapore it is very important for everyone. Okay, I think so. I think this is a prison for internal investigation and internal code management and for the audit about all of these activities. Okay, let's say about and rated game conduct office of investigation related to uh, alleged violence violation
Violations.
Okay, this is you can see the keywords in the sentence violations
Violations.
to uh, let's see all of this pronunciation
Alleged violations.
alleged violations related to alleged violations related to related to related to okay
Alleged violations.
alleged alleged violations of the company's code of conduct and other policies and procedures ensure thorough timely investigation various investigation methods ensure significant investigative issues and all trends are identified escalated and acted upon through investigation reports and other escalation paths. Okay, this is the first sentence. Let's go on to the second. Second is provided analysis provide analysis, evaluation, and guidelines on investigation related issues to influence business and outcomes. Okay, let's see about the deep learning. So I think this is internal workflow to deal on all of these parts, deal on all of this business about the code safety and the sorry, the word is alleged agiled.
Alleged violations.
Alleged violations, alleged violations, alleged violations,
Alleged violations.
alleged violations. This is to provide analysis, evaluation, and guidelines on all of this workflow to investigative related issues to influence business and outcomes. Maybe related to code, maybe related to business, and all of these actors and all of these activities. Okay, the third line. Responsible for identify suspicious activity in case investigation and making appropriate filing and prosecutions with the authorities. Let's read it about.
Responsible for identifying suspicious activity in case investigations and making appropriate filings, prosecutions with the authorities.
Responsibility for identify suspicious. Maybe this is some case identified in the internal Alibaba. So the operation, so the staff should be responsibility for identify all of this suspicious activity and study case about the investigation and making appropriate filing and prosecution.
Prosecutions.
And prosecutions to take on the prosecutions to take on the workflow, all of these workings with the authority, with the authorities.
Authorities.
Authorities. I don't know what about the authorities. Maybe the legal teams, maybe the lawyer, maybe the team leader, maybe the boss. I don't know. Maybe this is a workflow, just a very not a significant person in the organization. Okay, let's see the next sentence. Proactively develop and maintain internal and external investigation resource. Ensure proper parties are engaged in investigation in accordance with the local regulators. So maybe this is think about the organization ability for the applicants, for the candidates. You must organize internal and external resource involved and engaged into the investigation to complete the key issue. Okay, and let's see the next. Demonstrate excellent writing and verbal communication skill. Okay, this is mean you can have the ability to communicate with all of these people. For example, the programmer, the team leader, and the business and the lawyer, and maybe the authorities to deal with the alleged violence. This is main important.
Alleged violations.
Alleged violations. Alleged.
Alleged violations.
Alleged. For the alleged violations. For the alleged violations. Demonstrate excellent writing and verbal communication to deal with the case about the alleged violations. Alleged violations. Alleged. So let's see in the Roman dictionary.
Alleged.
Alleged. So the emphasis is at the second. Alleged.
Alleged.
Their alleged involvement in international terrorism.
Okay. To deal with the alleged violations. So, to alleged violations. So let's say the requirements. At least 5 years of total working experience. Maybe you can find out the you can study the organization of a big company with 5 years experience and with 3 years of independence or investigation working experience. So you must have the ability to deal with all of this investigation by yourself. Maybe your organization and involve the other resources involved to this case for the alleged uh, alleged sorry
Alleged.
alleged for the alleged violations for the alleged violations to provide the proof maybe not maybe not included maybe you can handle the workflow. So let's review about the title. The title is International Digital Commercial. So I cannot find any information about the alleged violations. This is so funny about the job title. It's you mean you are senior manager, but you do not have any code experience, just for experience in working in a company. Okay, let's see second requirements. How deep integrate how deep integrate a strong sense of principle and confidence and confidentiality, good at communication and teamwork, high sensitivity, strong ability in data analysis, and strong ability in data analysis, logical decision making, fast learning, able to work in a high pressure environment. So I think this is not a technical position. This is more focused on the ability to uh, deal with the internal alleged violations. Okay, you can study very quickly about the project. You can quickly study about the code and internal about the corruption, internal about the maybe some business related to procurement. For the sales, for the fake influence, and all of this, you can find very serious and legally influence in Singapore. Okay, the second one is fluent English and Mandarin language proficiency.
Proficiency.
Proficiency, language proficiency. As the role will work with senior shareholders in SQ China. Team management and global collaboration experience will be a plus. I think this is a operation you must report to China as a headquarter. Maybe you can you can get approval from China. Okay, so you must speak Mandarin, and they will have the decision making. So you must to handle the whole workflow, but you cannot have the power to do it. Finally, this is about the familiarity. Sorry, how to pronounce it?
Familiarity.
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 Let's think about the Longman Dictionary.
Familiarity.
Familiarity. Okay. Familiarity.
Familiarity.
Familiarity. Familiarity with China's law. Experience in public prosecution lawyer.
Prosecution.
Prosecution in public prosecution law, legal internal control, audit background will be a plus. So I think maybe this is compliance operation. It's all compliance for all of these things in internal enterprise. I think you can find in a very big companies, very big enterprise. It is very important for compliance. These people they will product they will not produce anything, but they will check over all this workflow, check over all this internal workflow, check out all these activities to fit on and align with the local lawyer and the local regulation such as the PDPA actor and other things. For example, you do not share your work with others. You cannot have the illegal activities such as copy code to any others. Oh, I think this is internal compliance operation. Okay, let's complete the studies. Thank you all.